Welcome to Unmute Yourself. I'm your guest, Jennifer Carter, and I'm so glad you're here. This podcast is about lifting the curtain on leadership, purpose, and the real stories behind people who dared to do things differently. We'll talk about how they found their path, the struggles they faced, and how they built something that truly matters. These are everyday people doing extraordinary things, and I want you to know you are capable of that too. For today's conversation, I am joined by Nathalie Pincham, an executive coach and business strategist who helps visionary founders, coaches, and creators build businesses that reflect their full potential, not someone else's formula. We know how this goes, right?
Yeah.
So, Natalie is known for asking the questions that most people miss, the kind that stop you in your tracks and make you rethink everything about how you lead and what you want. Her work helps high achieving entrepreneurs get clear on what they stand for, communicate it powerfully, and show up as the leader they already are so they can build the kind of success they actually love on purpose. And when she's not coaching, Nathalie is chasing down all 59 U.S. national parks with the goal of reaching them all before 2030, watching Formula One with her son, or perfecting classic cocktails with her husband, which I can't wait to find out what your favorite is. She's whip smart, deeply intentional, and has the beautiful mix of curiosity and courage that make people rethink what's possible. Nathalie, thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, thank you, Jennifer, for the lovely intro and I'm so looking forward to getting to chat to you today.
Yeah, I think we're going to have so much fun. So just take us back to the beginning. So how did you find your way into coaching and strategy work? Like, was there a defining moment when you realized this was the path for you?
No, there wasn't a clear moment. There wasn't like this specific thing, but it was this clear calling, right? But it's the first time I heard about coaching was in the early thousands, right? With Oprah and Martha Beck and all the people that she was interviewing. Then the more I heard about it, I was just like, oh, wow, this is what I want to do. But back then coaching was kind of on the outskirts, no people, a lot of people hadn't heard of it. And it wasn't like a real career. And so, yeah, it was dismissed. It was just like, well, that's not, go get a real job. 20 years later, when after having been working with founders, nonprofits, really honing their brand identity, their brand messaging, I was started doing more and more coaching just authentically from that work. Um, because when you start to dig into like, what am I trying to convey? Who am I trying to
Mhm.
bring in? You start to, there's some really big questions to answer about who you are and what you want to stand for in this world. And so I was just loving that kind of work. But I was also finding that these very, very brilliant people um, were just not implementing these high level strategies that I know really work. Right. And I was just trying to understand why. And the more I dug into that, both for myself and for my clients, like, what is it that holds us back? What is it,
Right.
when you're high achieving and you're driven and you're brilliant, what is it that just stops you? Yeah. And so this is how I ended up spending a year at the Institute for Professional Excellence in coaching,
Mhm.
getting my life changing
It's amazing. I
certification,
did the same one. It's
right?
amazing,
Isn't it
amazing training.
amazing? We both share that background and it changes you. It changes you personally and spiritually, psychologically, and very much professionally as well. So that's how I ended up where I am now. So it's a very long, meandering road, but I'm very excited about being here.
Well, I'm so interested in your mindset as you went through this. So when I know you did all of that work with founders and then you implemented the coaching into it. Like how did you keep going when you might not have been sure or clear how it would all come together?
That's a really good question, right? Because those are the moments where you're just doubting yourself. You're not super clear on the impact that you're making. Does anybody really want to understand this, or is it just me?
Yeah, right, the doubt.
um, so yeah, there is this this feeling of isolation that we experience when we are pursuing something that matters to us deeply, and we're not surrounded by other people who get it or who are on the same path, and that's really painful.
Right.
Um, but I think that, one of the things that you learn when you're going through coaching training and when you actually experience coaching, because I forgot to mention that in my story, which is that I experienced coaching that blew my mind and completely opened my whole way of thinking. And that was also one of those, that was a key moment where I was like, I have to go and get certified to do this because this is incredible. um, but yeah, so it's, when you're hitting up against these patterns of thinking and behavior that you just feel like, wow, this is really holding me back. Like perfectionism, um, or we're constantly setting very high standards for ourselves. Um, then there is this kind of undercurrent of inadequacy that comes along with that, and this sense that our efforts are never very good enough. Coaching is what changes that, and
Right.
that allows you to start to actually build momentum and feel very, very different.
I right before I came on to our conversation today, I was speaking with a woman who is so accomplished in the online fitness world. Right? Okay, and she's, like, I deserve it? Is it going to be successful? Am I going to be embarrassed if I put my heart and soul into something? And that's something I hear from people all the time, and I'm sure you do too, right? You see all these brilliant, brilliant human beings, and they have that self doubt. How do you get people through that?
The self-doubt can stem from different things for different people. I tend to work with very accomplished, successful people who have experienced a lot of success in their career. But there is this very surprising experience of self doubt. It's like, well, I've achieved all of this, right? All these other people around me tell me that I'm brilliant, but I'm still really, really questioning myself. Um, and it's you know, the way to start to address that is to start thinking about um, changing how we perceive what it is that we're going for, right? When we
Interesting.
want to create meaning and success and significance by what we do, and we focus entirely on what we are external circumstances, then we are going to hit those walls. We are going to hit self doubt. We are going to lose confidence. We are going to lose momentum. When you start to shift and you start to build from um, inside out, that's when you build something that matters, that you stand for without hesitation or doubt, because you know this is what you are meant to do. It's just you showing up as you fully and authentically, and it doesn't matter what other people have to say about it. There will always be haters. There will always be people who second guess you. So you don't have to play that game too. That's what I
Right.
think. I'm on the way.
Right. Like, why would you get sucked into it? But it's so easy to do.
Yes.
Like, I feel like emotional just listening to you speak. Talking through like the haters and living your purpose and being who you are, how does that show up for you in your own personal definition of success?
Um, in terms of my definition of success, it's very much around um, living like oh wow, sorry. showing up fully aligned with my values, with what I knew to be true for me. And so when I struggled tremendously with visibility, with feeling like anything I did mattered, we all have early life experiences that kind of really keep us stuck in patterns of thinking that are totally unconscious, right? And when we start to bring them into consciousness, and we start to see, oh, wow, the reason I don't speak up in meetings is this, or, oh, wow, the
Right.
reason I hate sales calls is this, that's when you can start to shift. So for me, when I started out in business, I started out because I was really good at what I do, and I know that I knew I could deliver great results for my clients. But when it went to actually promoting myself, selling anything, showing up online in any way, it was excruciating. It was so
Yeah.
painful. And so many of my clients feel that way too, like, oh, you know, and so when I started out, sales calls were just, they weren't even scary. They were just horrifying.
Like, "Hi, Natalie. How are
Oh,
you? Do you wanna buy what I have? Oh,
yeah.
no? Okay, bye." Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
And so now here I am, all this time later, for me, a sales call, I don't even think of it as a sales call. It's not, but it's just fun. It's fun. It's fun to connect with people. I love it. So that's the kind of shift that that's just one example of it showing up for me, but those are the kinds of shifts that can happen for you when you get to work with a coach. And so that's for me, I value every single coach I've worked with. Um, I feel like it's the most profound work I've done, whether it's been just focused on business or much, much deeper work. I just feel like um I I feel like it is transformation. It's about showing up for the next version of
Right.
what you're ready for.
Right, and it feels like you're the most authentic version of you, like, fully self-expressed. And I'm curious too, like, you have built a reputation, you ask questions other people miss. So what do you think is your secret sauce as a coach?
Yeah, that's a tough one, right? That's the thing that I help my clients do is to find.
We can't do it for
Yeah,
ourselves.
so it's so
No, we
hard.
can't.
It's so hard to
The
say, "I
coaches
am
have coaches,
this
right.
thing." Yeah, right. But I do think that, one of the things that we learn in our training, the one that the school that we went to, there is this whole component of how we show up and how we think that is not mental. There is this intuition. There is this whole other element that most people are either not aware of because no one's mentioned it to them, or they discount it because the rational brain is just is the one driving the show most of the time, right? Um, but that sort of intuition, that kind of energy exchange that happens between people, um, I think that's where my intuition is often um, really right where it needs to be in order to help my clients. And I often hear that, oh my God, like,
Yeah,
oh, wow.
yeah.
And so I think when you are aligned with yourself and you get to show up that way for you, that's where you find your secret sauce is that level of connection and intuition with your clients, with the people around you. Um, so that I think that that's what it is. Yeah,
I
I
love
I
it.
think there's other pieces to it, but I feel like that's the most important one.
Love it. The woman that I was talking to right before our conversation today, she was asking, does inauthenticity always result in, I don't remember the word she used, like dismay or falling apart or hold people back? And I think for what you just said, like the more you that you are, the further you get to go. And I do wonder, like, what what do you see? What are your biggest red flags when you're working with somebody for the first time, right? That they're out of sync with who they really are. Like, how does that show up?
I think, um, 2 ways that I can think of right off the top of my head. First is, um, always holding back, right? Waiting and assessing, till everything feels sure. And so that is, um, a sign that you are wanting to align what you're going to say and do based on what everyone else is saying and doing. And so while that is wise, there are many situations where you want to be very, very responsive to what everyone else is saying. Um, if that is how you always show up, and you're always saying the least possible amount of information about who you are, like if you're on a Zoom call and you just say, "Right, my name is this, and this is my job, and that's it, I'm done."
Those are the worst icebreakers ever. Yes. Right. Yes.
So that's a sure sign that you're not fully aligned. You're not honoring some of your deeper parts of you. You're not letting them be expressed. And the other, actually, this is interesting because it's kind of opposite, is people who always have an answer for everything,
Man, I know some of those.
right? You say, well, what about this? Have you thought about this? And they have an answer for everything. But that's because, again, that stems from a deeper place of like needing to feeling like it's important to show that you know everything and to be the person in control. So when you start to undo again this kind of patterning, then you can just be much more, when you can show up and say, "Well, I don't know. Tell me more," then you are much more aligned and much more able to allow your real self to come out and play.
Yeah, I I don't even know what to say to that. It's like you're figuring out who you are for the first time without fear of retribution. It's
Yeah.
allowing yourself to be the weird kid in school where you don't have to fit in anymore and be accepted for who you are.
Yes,
Yes. And
exactly.
yeah, okay, good. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I knew we would have fun today.
Yeah.
Uh, so I know from corporate culture, right? It's hustle.
Mhm.
We're always doing something,
Yeah.
meeting after meeting after meeting, and especially I would say, high achieving entrepreneurs, right? Same thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How do you right, how do you help them step back to look at these big things and create space without them losing their, let's say, edge or ambition?
Oh, that's such a great question, Jennifer. Oh my gosh. This is where, um, it looks different for each client because, what's driving that hustle is the question. There are times in your business you absolutely have to hustle. You just have to, and that is okay. And being judgy about that to yourself or to others around you who are needing to do that is not okay. So
Yeah,
let's just say
no.
that.
Right.
However, when it's a habit and when it's just a way of being all the time because it's just what you do, um, I think the coaching conversation, the space in the coaching conversation is a great opportunity to take that point in your week to reassess, um, where how am I showing up, and what is my top priority? Because it's so easy to get caught up in other people's top priorities. That's what hustle culture feels like. You're answering all your emails and dealing with everyone else's crisis before you've even dealt with what needs to be addressed for you, your business, your
Right.
priorities. And so that, I think, is the way through, is to
Yeah.
redesign how your business operates, how you operate from a very intentional place.
Yeah, it's on the business, not in the business, and it sounds like helping people realize it's not all going to fall apart if they
Yes.
take that hour a week to
Quite the
talk to you.
reverse.
Oh, talk more. Quite the reverse. So what can they expect instead?
When you one of the things I help my clients with is really designing the business around themselves. Again, so it's like um we're not trying to fit into someone else's mold, not trying to fit into an idea of like, well, this is how I did it in corporate, so this is how I have to keep going. It's like, no, let's figure out, where are the areas that you thrive in your business, and let's build from there. And when you reconfigure how you run your business, we create
Mhm.
systems that allow you to breathe, and then you actually literally generate more time. It's incredible
It's in
how that can happen. So there is a way to completely restructure your week, your day, to generate time for yourself. And I'm not just talking about delegation, right? I bet somebody who was listening to this was like, oh yeah, she just means delegating. That's not what I mean. I mean, yeah, delegating is important. Yes. But that is not what I mean. There's actually ways to, again, come at what your list of things to do from a place of intention and integrity with who you are and what you need, honoring that first.
right. Being so true to who you are, it sounds like.
Yeah, I think it's super important because it's what allows you to um, build a foundation of fulfillment, right? The work is more fulfilling, and
Mhm.
you can actually build for freedom, more flexibility, and ultimately a lot more impact. Because when we're not strung out, we're a lot better at everything that we do.
Yes,
Right?
because it's a clarity and a calm and a peacefulness that comes from the in and when you get the input, you can process it in a completely different way.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, where do you even start with this work, right? With reconnecting somebody to who they are. Like I used to say, I'm a little wild and crazy dresser, just FYI,
Oh,
and
I love it.
I
Yes.
know, right? It's fun. But I remember going into the office, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, and I had to wear like normal, like business formal clothes. And I just remember getting dressed in the morning thinking, oh, here I go again. I'm putting on someone else's expectations. And it like killed me inside. So that's all to say, like, how do you even start telling somebody that it's okay to be who they are after fitting into that mold for so long?
Mm. Well, one of the first things that I invite people to do is I have an assessment, very short assessment on my website, which reveals your success archetype.
Oh, like
And it doesn't take very long to do, but what it does is it starts this whole process of thinking about where your strengths are and what they actually mean, and um, and really starting to own just what your gifts are, like owning your gifts, and also getting to see what the other side of that is. There's always going to be an attendant weakness for each strength that you have. So the results of this assessment that you take give you both. They tell you, this is your greatest opportunity based on this kind of profile, and this is your greatest challenge. And these are the recommendations for, maybe addressing that. Once we start from that place of like, um, really beginning to, you know, identify, this is what I'm really actually brilliant at. When we move beyond just excellence, right, into genius, this is where opportunity starts to open up and flow. And so when we start to build a business from there, that's pretty exciting. Yeah. So
Ex
that's how we start. That's how I
That's
start
so
with my
cool.
clients.
That's so cool. I love that excellence into genius. Yes, and so I like your Formula 1 passion, your national park
Yeah.
goal, right? So you clearly, to me, value adventure, curiosity. Yes. So, like, how have those parts of your life, maybe what have those parts of your life taught you about leadership and business?
Um, uh, well, I would say that you just named my 2 of my top core values. So you just,
Who
you're a brilliant coach. I can tell just by
knew?
that. You identified that. I am, yes, adventure and curiosity, absolutely foundational. Um, and I think in terms of leadership, um, and, business, curiosity is one of the things I think is the most game changing, because when we approach anything, whether it's something that we've never done before or something that we've done a million times, when we can still have a little bit of curiosity about who am I being when I do this? How can I make this feel even better? How can I support this into being something that um, makes more sense? How can I make, so these kinds of questions, but it's also very much around every interaction that you have with a human being. If you come at it from a place of curiosity, like what is it that makes you tick? Why are you showing up to this interaction in this way today? Um, how can I help? When you start to come at it from there, so many opportunities and um, connections, connections deepen, opportunities open, and life gets so interesting.
People are fascinating. And I like how it sounds like you're talking about being present and coming in with a blank slate for folks and using that curiosity to get a deep understanding of who they are in that moment.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And also, you know, not being afraid of what you don't know, right? And so the greatest leaders I've gotten to work with show up with such humility, not from a
Mm.
place of I will tell you exactly what you have to do today. It's much more like this idea of servant leadership. What can I do to make sure that you get to show up at your best? That is where everyone starts to have a very different experience.
Beautifully said.
And that's curiosity that leads that, to just be like, wow, what can we do differently here?
Right. Well, you are absolutely brilliant. And I'm getting you're welcome. And I'm getting so much from our conversation. And it's already time for us to start wrapping up. So time flies, doesn't it? So it really does. So let's close with a few quick fire questions. And so just answer with the first thing that comes to mind. Okay, what's one lesson you've learned that you wish everyone knew?
Mm. Um, well, that's a good one. I would say trying to be perfect is really not the point,
Oh,
because I tried
amen.
so hard for so long. Wow, I wish I didn't have to have learned that lesson in such a long time.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so good. Okay, let's see. If you could go back and tell your younger self one thing, what would it be?
Um, you are already brilliant.
In one sentence, what does leadership mean to you today?
Helping everybody rise.
What's the boldest choice you've made that paid off?
Moving to America on my own when I was 25 years old.
Hey, because why not, right?
Yeah. Right.
It's awesome. That's so cool. And then what's the next big dream you're chasing?
My next big dream. I just signed up for an MBA program.
Great.
because
Right.
I love to learn, and I am excited to always be growing. And so this is like another lifelong dream that I just shelved, and I was like, no, let's not shelve dreams. That's bad thing to do to dreams. So I got the last one off the shelf.
Amazing. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you. I think you're gonna have a great time.
Thank
Yes.
you.
So, Natalie, this has been such a powerful conversation. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us and your story. And before we wrap, I do have two final questions. On a personal note, what has it meant for you to share your story here on Unmute Yourself today?
It's just been so lovely to get to spend this time with you and to get to hear, um, one of the beautiful things that coaches do and that you do in this space is reflect back, and mirror people in a way that they get to see themselves from a slightly different perspective than when they're always the one taking charge or always leading. So for me, that's been a gift that you gave me today.
Thank you.
Um, and I am excited for you launching this out into the world and for people to get to hear these interviews and hopefully find some nuggets of inspiration and wisdom. And I think it's a beautiful, beautiful thing that you're doing, sharing all of this.
Thank you so much. And I'm glad that you're a part of it. It's just a joy to get to learn from you and hear your wisdom and everything that you have to share. So thank you so much.
Yes.
Yes. And then Natalie, how can listeners connect with you?
The best place is on my website, which is yoursuccesstonic.com. And that's where you can also find that quiz. But also on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the only social media I'm doing right now. But you can find me there as well.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again, Natalie, for joining me.
Thank you.
And yes, and thank you to everyone listening, showing up, and reflecting, and for unmuting yourself in your own way. So, if today's conversation inspired you, please share this episode, follow, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories of leaders creating work that truly fits and matters. Until next time, unmute yourself and step into a story only you can tell.